You strong.
SeoJoon stopped in front of the academy sign. Lee Min-yul came forward and said, "This place doesn't look like an academy at all anymore." Sok Soo-yeon also added, "Even though it's just changing the name, it's really a pity." The four of them entered. Lee Min-yul opened his mouth. "Before that, leader, you have obtained your A-level hunter certification, right?" SeoJoon replied, "I'm not sure, there is no official confirmation yet." Sok Soo-yeon explained, "It's just that it hasn't been confirmed on paper, but that's enough to know." Lee Min-yul clasped his hands behind his head, wondering, of course, because the association president personally said so. "So what about us? Maybe we can also get B-level," Hae-eun said with a bored look. "Perhaps, when there is an official announcement, we will know clearly." Soo-yeon walked in and said excitedly, "We're back here." There was no one in the room. Soo-yeon was surprised. Huh? She wondered, did Soo-yeon not come today? "I thought she would come to the academy today," Lee Min-yul said. "SeoJoon oppa, have you heard anything about Seo-yeon?" Soo-yeon turned around and asked. "So when did SeoJoon disappear?" "Huh?" Soo-yeon was surprised. "Just now he was here," she said. While everyone was wondering, SeoJoon ran out. He jumped into the sky and ran away extremely quickly. The deadline for Seo-yeon's Sword Saint is at the end of the hunter selection competition, SeoJoon thought worriedly. In other words, the reason Seo-yeon didn't go to the academy was, he speculated. Seo-yeon, he worriedly called her name and then sped away. The boss said he wouldn't receive guests today. "Please go home," the guard said sternly. "Come on, can you help me?" SeoJoon begged. "No," he said. SeoJoon thought uncomfortably. He must have known he was coming, so he intentionally sent someone to block him outside. "I don't want to leave so easily, but I can't act rudely either," he thought. "Let him in." SeoJoon heard someone talking and was startled. Sir Seo," the guard was surprised. Seo Moonchul said seriously, "It's okay, just let him inside." "But the boss told me not to let anyone else in," the gatekeeper explained, "but Mr. Seo affirmed that I would be responsible." "The door is opened." The watchman said, "Follow me." Elder Seo walked ahead. Kim SeoJoon ran behind. Two people entered the room. Seo-yeon was sitting and kneeling in front of the Holy Dharma. She saw SeoJoon and turned around tiredly. "SeoJoon, I told you not to let anyone else in," the Dharma saint questioned. Seo-yeon looked at him in fear. "Do you see my words as wind blowing through your ears?" The angry Dharma saint radiated power that overwhelmed everyone present in the room. Old Seo collapsed under that pressure, but Kim SeoJoon still stood firm. "I'm truly sorry, Mr. Sword Saint," SeoJoon said slowly. The Sword Saint grimaced angrily. "Although it's a bit rude, I have to come here because I have something to say," he explained as he slowly walked up. The Sword Saint looked at him thoughtfully and thought, "This kid, in just a short time he has become so strong. He is no longer the incompetent brat like before. The image of SeoJoon has changed in the Sword Saint's mind. Now he has strength that I need to use all my strength to be able to deal with." Even more than that, he thought, there was nothing left to discuss. The deadline was over. "Go home." The Sword Saint coldly dismissed the guests. After speaking, the Sword Saint turned around, glanced at his niece who was kneeling helplessly, and thought, "What I ask for is only the minimum condition. If even that cannot be met, then you will be eliminated, and will spend the rest of his life tormenting and questioning himself." That was worse than not being accompanied, he thought. Seo-yeon knelt down sadly. "It's not over yet," SeoJoon's words rang out, causing the Dharma saint to suddenly stop. SeoJoon stepped forward vigorously, speaking boldly. "The deadline you gave Seo-yeon was when the hunter selection exam ended, right? But it wasn't over yet." "What nonsense are you talking about?" Hearing that, the Sword Saint shouted angrily, "The exam is over. The proof is that you yourself are here, right? That's why the deadline I set," the Sword Saint angrily retorted, but it seemed like those words were what SeoJoon meant. He immediately smiled happily. "My score has not been officially confirmed yet." He pointed at himself and revealed it, surprising the Sword Saint. "You took the opportunity to continue your presentation. The exam ends when the scores of all candidates are officially announced, right? The scores for the final subject and individual combat abilities have not been announced yet." SeoJoon continued speaking. The Sword Saint pondered. "So, Seo-yeon's battle," SeoJoon advances. "It's not over yet," he concluded. Face to face with the Sword Saint, he smiled, while he looked serious. He closed his eyes and thought. "Okay," the Sword Saint said. SeoJoon smiled proudly at Seo-yeon. He extended his hand towards her. SeoJoon held her hand and pulled her up. He boldly declared, "Let's move forward together." This should have been impossible. Seoyun thought. I thought everything was over. But right now, once again, the situation has completely reversed, she exclaimed. Impossible, what are you talking about? Look at me. SeoJoon smiled foolishly and pointed to his face. Seoyun tightly grasped the hilt of her sword, determined to think, once again. She aggressively turned towards him. Please give me another chance. Her eyes were steady, challenging. SeoJoon seriously observed the match. The sword saint's sharp eyes drew his sword. Seoyun also held the sword and stood in fighting mode. A sword move that could cut at high speed. Enjoying the sword, Seoyun rushed towards her grandfather. She turned her legs back. Unleash an extremely powerful move, a sword move that can quickly attack one point, the mechanical sword. The sword move can quickly change the target, transform the sword. She quickly used the sword to slash past, the sword saint dodged. The sword move can raid the enemy's territory and pressure the opponent. With the sword, she uses the move to attack. After a while, she used her other hand to hold the hilt of the sword. A sword move that can put all her strength into one attack. Strong sword, she uses all her strength to lower the sword. Seoyun gritted her teeth and clenched her legs to suppress the opponent. A sword move that maximized destructive power by adding weight to its weight. Weighting the sword, Seoyun delivered an extremely powerful decisive blow. Her grandfather, after seeing the performance just now, had a serious face. The sword saint used a horizontal slash, causing Seoyun to be startled and withdraw her sword. Kyuk, she exclaimed. The sword saint thought, is it over? Seoyun wondered confusedly. The direction of her sword movement should have been connected to each other in harmony with each beat, but I couldn't do it, so it was quite difficult to resist his sword. While she was thinking, the sword saint swung his sword. No, she closed her eyes tightly in fear. SeoJoon's image flashed past. He was staring at the match. Suddenly Seoyun seemed to regain her determination. Her eyes radiated light. She regained her composure and gradually raised her sword to block the sword saint's attack. Counterattacking with a sword move by gently dodging, letting the opponent's attack pass by her, saving her sword, she lowered her body and slashed past, but her grandfather dodged again. The sword saint was startled for a moment. Compared to her quick senses, her reaction to swordsmanship when confronting him was much slower than usual, Seoyun realized. The feeling of holding an unfamiliar sword in my hand felt awkward, Seoyun thought. I grew up around talented people, I met hundreds of great people, people that normal people think they will never meet once in their lives. She held the sword and thought. Among those great people, my insignificance was a curse, she remembered about herself. But if I met normal people, would I live differently than I do now? She wondered, if I kept running away from reality. But I met SeoJoon, she recalled. A sword move that can dazzle the opponent. Illusory sword, she raised her sword. I don't want to give up anymore, I don't want to be an ordinary person anymore. Next to him, she performed sword moves and regained her motivation. I want to stand next to him, she looked towards SeoJoon. A gentle wind blew through my heart, but I knew what this feeling was. Was this the feeling of enlightenment? I didn't know anymore. Was this how he did it? She kept asking questions. No, more than that, something seemed to glow in her heart. Sure enough, I could feel a clear feeling. She was eager to move forward. An unconscious action, Seoyun placed her hand on the hilt of the sword, raising the sword. Her eyes glowed, wide open, that feeling of despair. Lowering the sword, a powerful beam of light stabbed straight into the ground in the direction of her hand. Seoyun was tired and panting. Huff, huff, sword. I did it, she said. The sword saint was startled when he heard that. He was surprised. How could this be possible? She has clearly reached her limit, it is a realm she cannot reach at her current level. He looked at his granddaughter in disbelief. But what do you see what this is? What made you, I thought. Seoyun smiled happily and said, now you can go with him, right? You will allow me, right? Seoyun asked excitedly while the sword saint was still standing in a daze. I did it, she happily ran past him. SeoJoon, I did it. I succeeded, she shouted. I knew you could do it, SeoJoon said, equally excited. There are people living in this world who only pursue a certain goal. I will be able to somewhat predict the difficulties and troubles they will go through, the sword saint thought with wide eyes, looking at his niece. However, there were some rare cases, whose limits could not be predicted. This time he looked towards SeoJoon. And there are also people who can be other people, overcome their limits and bring them to their side. The sword saint still stood still, watching the two of them happily congratulate each other. I can't do that, he thought. You know that the sword saint, sometimes, the one who is considered useless, the voice from the past resounds, can do things that no one else can do. Sword saint, our era is passing, and perhaps it has already passed. But I still keep thinking about what he said at that time. That holy bastard, he muttered. Sir, I'm sorry for not following orders, Mr. Seo bowed respectfully. People, in the end, I'm still the one who allowed that to happen, Sword Saint replied. A lot of time has passed, Sword Saint, ho ho, that voice rang out again. Today's world is truly harsh, the Sword Saint commented. Mr. SeoJoon, SeoJoon called your name. On the way back to the academy, SeoJoon asked, if I fail, what are you going to do? I'll probably go find the association president, SeoJoon replied, stroking her chin. Why? SeoJoon asked in confusion. No matter what I have to do, I have to make him postpone the completion of the professional hunter certification exam. His answer made SeoJoon suddenly silent. After listening, she blushed embarrassedly. SeoJoon received a text message. It's from Suyin, Mr. SeoJoon, where are you going without answering the phone? The association president has come to the academy and is waiting for you and SeoJoon. Is she calling me? He wondered. Miss SeoJoon, go quickly, he called out. There are a lot of people waiting for you, he said loudly while SeoJoon didn't understand what was going on. But she seemed to feel happiness. She smiled and replied, wait for me. Everyone in the room saw the two of them entering and shouted happily, Big Sister SeoJoon, Big Sister. You're already here, we thought something was wrong with you, we were worried to death. Sok Suyin happily held SeoJoon's hand and shouted, sorry, it's just that you have something to do, SeoJoon happily replied. Lee Minyul asked SeoJoon, the team leader, are you going to pick her up? You suddenly disappeared, which also surprised me. Lee Taebum appeared and said, there you are, Kim SeoJoon. He smiled and praised, I should now call you Hunter Kim SeoJoon. Congratulations on passing the professional hunter exam, Hunter Kim SeoJoon. SeoJoon was proud when he heard that, while Lee Haeun looked sad. He had achieved a perfect score in the last subject, so by scoring full marks in all subjects, he would receive an A-level hunter certification, he continued, and the others had already passed smoothly. Both past and present are B-level hunters. The association president put his hand on his neck, looking difficult to speak. To be honest, if possible, I would really like to give you an S-class hunter certification, but I think that would be a bit difficult. SeoJoon smiled and replied, it's okay, I'll try harder from now on, Mr. Taebum flattered. Haha, if it's Hunter Kim SeoJoon, there will definitely be no problem. Yes, everyone in the room agreed. The A-rank hunters were under the special management of the association. The popular president, specifically, the priority ticket to conquer the dungeon had been assigned to him, who had achieved a perfect score in the professional hunter selection exam. Career this time. And the reason I came here is because I wanted to ask if you have thought about establishing a new guild, he suggested. Everyone in the room could not hide their pride. Yes, of course, SeoJoon agreed, making Taebum extremely happy. So, please let me personally take care of the establishment of the association, Lee Taebum proposed. SeoJoon suddenly asked, what will the association president do personally? The matter of the new guild is quite complicated. Preparing documents as well as applying for permission also takes quite a bit of time, he said, reaching into his pocket and pulling out a piece of paper. But if I take care of it myself, it won't take too long, he said confidently. Everyone knows the names of those who will join the guild here. Everyone looks excited. There's a problem, Lee Taebum said, looking at the name sheet. What's wrong? SeoJoon wondered. To form a guild, it would take 5 professional hunters with hunter certification of level B or higher, but we're still missing one person, he explained. If you can't find anyone, I can use my authority to form a guild, but if the 5 major guilds find out, it will be a bit troublesome, the association president suggested. Right, so, now they're still trying to find the worm, who knows what else they're planning, SeoJoon admitted. He put his hand on his chin, thinking, but he couldn't randomly choose someone to join the guild. Haeun still stood silently in a corner without speaking. SeoJoon continued to think. Suddenly, he realized, a sound. He looked towards Haeun. She saw him looking at her and was curious. Lee Haeun, your name is written on the paper. So we have 5 people, the association president said. Suyin and Minyul are extremely excited. Big sister, I'm looking forward to working with you. Me too, while Haeun's face darkened. SeoJoon's offer, sign it, sign a contract with me and become a member of our guild. So what will the guild's name be? The president asked. We have already chosen the name, SeoJoon replied. Dream Team. SeoJoon read the name in front of everyone's proud eyes, he said, that's the name of our guild. Kim SeoJoon will soon establish a guild, in a high-rise building. Everyone in the meeting room is excited. Is there no way to stop him? No way, but we should at least take some time, The problem is the priority ticket to conquer the dungeon behold. But the association had already decided on that, and before they could finish speaking, there was a loud noise. Everyone panicked and looked in the same direction. It's been a long time since we've seen each other. Everyone seemed fine. A man appeared. Sword Saint, why are you here? Everyone asked in surprise. The Sword Saint proudly stepped out from the large hole just created. He squinted his eyes and looked angry. Just looking at his face, we knew what you guys were planning to do. The pressure was so great that the people in the room felt like they were suffocating. They staggered and fell down. Mr. Sword Saint gradually walked towards them. I think you guys are misunderstanding something. I have no reason to leave you alone. It's just that if we get involved in this ourselves, it won't work. It's no different than the disgusting things you guys are doing. Because if we don't end the cataclysm and destroy the monsters, so that you can sit in this position in the future, the Sword Saint continued. If you didn't know, anyone who heard you would think you were the one who ended the cataclysm and destroyed the monsters, someone said sarcastically. Ryu Jinkiel, the Sword Saint, angrily called his name. Haven't seen each other in a while, you've grown up a lot, he asked seriously. On the other hand, you've aged a lot too, old man. Jinkiel stared at him contemptuously. It's okay to stop there, there's the sound of someone else cutting the cards. Even if you're a Sword Saint, you can't swing your sword around in someone else's house, that person said, holding up the towel. The Sword Saint glared. You finally crawled out. Kalia, he called your name? Kaelia spoke up. You didn't look surprised at all. Did you know we were involved in this? These little pests wanted to take my Tan dragon sword to trick the boy. It's ridiculous. If they had thought, they should have known their fate and knelt down to apologize to me. The Sword Saint showed contempt, often causing the kneeling redhead to shiver. However, considering the fact that they don't have the guts to do that, there must be someone behind them taking care of them, and instructing them to do so. If not you, then who else would be able to come in here? The Sword Saint analyzed. Kalia understood. So your original purpose was to come to see me, I understand. Then why did you come here? She asked. I'm just trying to act like you for once. The Sword Saint's answer puzzled Kalia. I know you guys will be a problem, if that boy forms a guild, he said, making Jinkiel angrily grit his teeth. And I guess that's also why you gathered here to plan to stop that. The guys who were knocked down knelt on the ground and turned black when they were mentioned. But I warn you, no matter what it is, you better not take action. The Sword Saint glared threateningly with his bloodshot eyes. What if we refuse? Kalia calmly challenged. As long as you can bear the consequences, the Sword Saint will constantly radiate threatening suppression power. Kalia and the Sword Saint, you two look at each other. Suddenly, the Sword Saint turned around. He left, passing Kalia. Are you going to just leave like that? She was curious. I thought you were going to ruin everything here. What do I do that for? The Sword Saint turned around and calmly asked back. Then a second later, he disappeared, leaving behind 3 people sitting on the ground trembling in a battlefield. Cancel all plans, Kalia ordered. Jinkiel heard it and didn't seem to believe what he just heard. What? Could it be that the successor of the Apostle of Chastity is afraid that the Sword Saint's strength has declined? Jinkiel encouraged. The command of truth is no longer the same as before he continued. Kalia interrupted. You are letting your arrogance swell too much, Ryu Jinkiel. Don't underestimate the Sword Saint. Kalia approached and threatened Jinkiel, making him suddenly afraid. I understand very well your skills, your strength, Ryu Jinkiel, Kalia growled. A person who has reached the level of almost a hero in the cataclysmic battle. The Koreans call you that. She looked angry. However, don't misunderstand. No matter how close you are, you will never be able to reach that level, Kalia said contemptuously, making Jinkiel blush. Cute, but he was helpless before her power. Kalia gathered her strength, turned away, and even if we can't directly fight with Kim SeoJoon, there's still another way, she suggested. Idea. What do you mean? Jinkiel doesn't understand. Kalia smiled dangerously, for fate would not change. Meanwhile, SeoJoon received a notification. He was extremely surprised when he read the notification on his phone. At Dream Team Guild, is everyone here? SeoJoon asked brightly. Today is the Dream Team's first raid, let's do our best. SeoJoon smiled and cheered everyone on. She is now Park SeoJoon, B-level hunter of the Dream Team, vice president. Lee Minhyul put his hands behind his shoulders, puffed out his chest with pride. He had just received his professional hunter's license and was able to raid dungeons right away. He really liked it. He was now a B-level hunter, Dream Team. Meanwhile, Sok Suyin worriedly asked, this is my first time entering a real dungeon, are you okay? You are a B-level hunter, Dream Team. It's no different from other simulation dungeons, the only difference is probably that the difficulty is higher and the possibility of her losing her life is real, SeoJoon, B-rank hunter, Dream Team coldly explained. So what's different, Suyin said. Suddenly there was a sound of someone coming, of course it must be different. It was Kim SeoJoon, A-level hunter of the Dream Team, the president, his eyes filled with spirit, shouting, unlike virtual dungeons, I can make money from it. Money, 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 he kept shouting. Lee Min-yul looked at him reproachfully. I know he loves money, but it seems like he loves money even more now. Suyin also agreed. I don't know, checked yesterday. After checking the phone, he seemed to have turned into a different person. Haeun glanced at him and nodded in agreement. Meanwhile, Park SeoJoon was clutching his head in anger. He remembered, damn, the deadline for not being free has ended, and I forgot to spend all my money on mental health supplements. That was last night's announcement. He received it, the free travel period had ended. The free travel ticket was up to 2 billion won. He scratched his head and wondered, why don't I have even 100 million won? This is crazy. As if realizing that someone was talking behind his back, he turned around with red eyes and asked a warning. You guys said something that made the other three people pause. The three of them immediately changed the subject. Whoa, looking forward to our first dungeon raid, Suyin said. That's right, I'm also excited, so let's go quickly, Captain. Min-yul waved her arms and legs. Haeun knocked his head repeatedly. Their actions made SeoJoon confused. Wait, there aren't enough people yet, he suddenly spoke up. Who else? Suyin asked. Is that SeoJoon's acquaintance? SeoJoon replied and then realized, ah, there you are. Uncle, here, he raised his hand to signal and shouted loudly. Ha, Suyin was extremely surprised when she recognized that person. Dad, Suyin shouted, it turned out to be Uncle Manchul, you invited me so I came here, he scratched his head and said. Suyin looked angry. Dad, why didn't you tell me? I had to tell you everything, Uncle Manchul asked back. Everyone is full, let's go, SeoJoon said. Min-yul was curious, this time which dungeon are we going to? Hearing him ask that, SeoJoon just gave a wild smile. Kek, what a beautiful place, the answer makes everyone confused. In the suburbs not far from Seoul. At the site of the Black Dragon Guild, Uncle Manchul was drinking water when someone shouted at him, over there, who let him stand here? This is the area of the Black Dragon Union, tell the bastards who just came in to get out of here immediately. The red-haired guy pointed at him and shouted. Uncle Manchul turned his ears and didn't care, created a teleportation circle, shouted something, we have deaf. By the way, I heard that Kim SeoJoon can use priority travel tickets here, Uncle Manchul wondered. The red-haired guy was dumbfounded when he heard the name, K. Kim Seo. Can I ask what the name of the guild that just entered? He suddenly became shy, Uncle Manchul only now noticed him. Once. He smiled and replied, Dream Guild. At the same time, Kim SeoJoon was practicing with the Illa spear in hand. He kept slashing continuously, creating impact and clang sounds. Until all clear and completed appeared, he exhaled and stopped. At this rate, it will be difficult to find some corpses to sell, there will be no traces left, SeoJoon said. SeoJoon heard that and climbed up, let us take care of it. Yu and Haeun rushed up together. The two of them slashed at the two giant monsters, causing them to cry out, Grarf. SeoJoon jumped into the air and turned back, creating a very beautiful move. Suyin used her strength to tie up the struggling monsters. She called out their names. Min-yul. Min-yul listened to the command and immediately drew her bow. There you are. He aimed straight at the monsters' dangerous spots, causing them to roar. Their heads appeared through Uncle Manchul's teleportation portal, causing the three overbearing men at first to turn black with fear. Did you wait long? Min-yul appeared and asked. Uncle Manchul put his hands in his pockets, calmly. It was nothing, just a few minutes. The red-haired guy saw them appear and was even more surprised. Is it your turn to show off your talent now? Uncle Manchul tensed his muscles, full of enthusiasm. Let me help you, Lee Min-yul suggested with a smile. Let me help you. Uncle, isn't this very similar to the old days? Min-yul smiled and asked. What's so good about today? Uncle Manchul cursed. SeoJoon asked. Why don't you take advantage of this time to set up a transportation company to cooperate exclusively with We Went Together? While they were happily discussing, the other three people were still scared. By the way, SeoJoon spoke up with blood on her face. Who are you people who keep staring at us? SeoJoon looked horrified, licked his lips, raised the bloody knife and asked. I don't know, they said they were members of the Black Dragon Association and wanted to see you. Seeing those scared eyes, they were scared and ran away, so we asked for permission. It's true, you deliberately chose the Black Dragon Guild's location, right? SeoJoon asked with a smile. SeoJoon just shrugged. It's all cleaned up, Uncle Manchul said. Whoa, everyone is so good, SeoJoon encouraged. How is it? Just now I was nervous. I didn't expect it was still within reach, Minhyul said. That's right, easier than I thought. Suyin was excited. Whoa, how much money does this place have in total? Suyin asked. I don't know what level 8 monsters are like, but here we have to pay at least 100 million won each, SeoJoon replied. 100 million won each, Suyin shouted in surprise. Earning hundreds of millions in one day, today we have to have a party. Well, what's delicious to eat? Everyone has different opinions. SeoJoon is confused. You guys are shouting something like that. It's just the beginning. SeoJoon is strict with the rules. Next, they face monsters made of stone. Next, are the underwater monsters. Let's go to the next dungeon. Continue, without stopping. After many times like that, everyone on the team seemed tired and uncomfortable. Lee Minhyul asked annoyedly, Captain, how long do we have to go on the raid? What do you mean by how long? We have to make money while we can, SeoJoon shouted. Okay, I won't go anymore, this is exploitation. Suyin lay on the ground screaming. Can you go alone, Captain? We don't need that much money, Minhyul suggested. Oh, you've seen me before. How difficult is it to control your power? In order for a corpse to be sold at full price, you have to be the one to catch it, not turn it into ashes. You also need experience to become an A-level hunter. Still have a lot to learn. Then just gain experience gradually. Minhyul pouted. What nonsense are you talking about? You have to become an A-level hunter so that our guild ranking will go up. SeoJoon got angry. Did you know that guild rank affects taxes and income? It's all about money, you know, SeoJoon shouted straight at them. Besides, all of you should get to A-level. The more famous our guild is, the more money we have to make money. You guys have experience and I get money, SeoJoon said brightly. The captain even said that. Now the work our society is already famous enough, thanks to you. Shut up, if you don't want to anymore, then become an A-level hunter immediately. Evil boss. Oh, where is the evil captain? Minhyul is angry and angry. Suyin turns to ask for help. I don't want it, I take a break. Miss Haeun, save us. What do you say? When Suyin looked up, Haeun had disappeared. She stood crouched behind SeoJoon. Traitor, both Suyin and Minhyul thought, looking at Haeun. Haeun sighed, silently apologizing. Sorry, I felt like he was about to touch my neck. The four of them were still arguing like that. Big sister SeoJoon, you're the vice president, stop him. They turned to ask SeoJoon for help, but you turned on silent mode, entering a state of enlightenment. He also had a hard time, so I also yes, sister, the other two screamed helplessly. Let's go make money, SeoJoon shouted enthusiastically. The team members could only complain. Kya. Crazy, someone said, looking at the guild's achievement board. Is this really the level of the newly formed guild? The guild president thought. Not only conquering 7 to 8 star dungeons, it seems they also freely raid dungeons inside the Black Dragon Guild's territory. Again. Even if the Black Dragons wanted to stop them, the raids would happen so quickly that they wouldn't have time to react. More importantly, the Dream Team also had priority to get through the dungeon, so the Black Dragons couldn't do anything. Both, he analyzed. The Black Dragon Association's public funds are about to be depleted, Lee Taebum speculated. Even though there was no way to deal with the current situation, they were too quiet. They must be plotting something again, he thought. Suddenly someone opened the door, shouted, President, we're in trouble. It's a big mess. The Dragger dungeon has appeared. The association president was surprised when he heard it. Have you contacted Tam Tan? He quickly jumped up and urgently asked. We contacted him immediately, but as always, we don't know when he will respond, the reporter said. It's tragic. There is only one person in Korea who can handle the Draugr. Among the 5 heroes representing Korea, Sacred Heart is the only one. Lee Taebum thought with a headache. There is no other way, we have to wait. Okay, he gritted his teeth. Kaon Draugr, he suddenly realized. Kim SeoJoon, he called his name, yes, the one who reported the unexpected news. Will he help me? I mean, being a hunter you always have to face life and death. Maybe as long as you pay enough money, maybe he will accept, Taebum considers. Would Hunter Kim SeoJoon dare to raid that dungeon? The chairman worriedly wondered. Passers-by passing by Kim SeoJoon were astonished as if they had met a celebrity. Isn't that Kim SeoJoon, really? And he was angry about the members, the traitors. They dared to run away right after I asked if they wanted to prolong the dungeon raid a little longer, he remembered, while he was in the middle of speaking. But we only have 9 billion, so if we don't increase it to 10 billion first, everyone will quickly run away. He raised his phone in confusion. Really, I don't understand why they hate making money so much. The screen showed an account balance of 2,121,000,000. That's 1/5 of 9 billion plus the money earned from the raid. Alone. Do you want to buy a free travel ticket? The screen appeared with questions and options. He did not hesitate to press yes. After pressing a button, 2 million went out of his account. He dumbfoundedly said, "Damn, now there's 121 million left in his account." He walked slowly and thought, every 3 months like this, it could end up being the end of his life. The reason why I buy a free travel ticket every 3 months is because of the process of enlightenment. This means progressing. Wouldn't the enlightenment process increase at all? The completion rate of the enlightenment process is 33.8%, an increase of 0.1%. It would be better if I just bought the single lesson, but, never mind, who knows what will happen to my karma, he thought. There are so many lessons I want to learn, so it's really troublesome. I also have to constantly drink magic medicine. It gives me a headache. Mr. Black Saint still owes me 13 billion won, and I still haven't heard anything from him, he sighed. Is there a way to quickly increase the level of enlightenment and receive tens of billions of won at the same time? Oh God, when he was upset about money, a shadow appeared. Hunter Kim SeoJoon, welcome back. The voice rang out, causing Kim SeoJoon to look up in surprise. Association president, he was surprised that he was here. Can you have some coffee, please? Thank you, Lee Taebum replied. Sorry for visiting you so late, I came because I have something important to tell you, he said smilingly. It's okay, just relax. So, what's wrong? SeoJoon asked. The chairman fiddled with the coffee can. Actually, we recently received a report of a Draugr dungeon appearing in Korea, the chairman explained. Isn't Draugr the psychic monster I saw last season? SeoJoon remembered. With all sincerity, I hope Hunter Kim SeoJoon can help us solve that Draugr dungeon, Lee Taebum suggested. You want me to handle it? He asked back in surprise. Why me? SeoJoon wondered. Oh wait, as soon as he asked the question, he realized something. Thinking back, the last time I defeated Draugr, didn't the enlightenment progress increase very quickly? You remember, of course, we didn't ask you for free, the chairman set the price. We can provide some financial support for you as well, he said, the 4 words financial support hitting Kim SeoJoon's nerves, making his eyes widen. Can I ask how much it is? He asked smilingly, his body shaking. We think it's about 30 billion won, the association president replied gently. 30 billion won, hearing that number, Kim SeoJoon was so excited that he crushed the coffee can. There were only 8 Draugr dungeons that had appeared in Korea in the past few decades. If you count this one, there were 9, he thought happily. Isn't this a golden opportunity to quickly increase the progress of enlightenment? Why? He was so happy that he wanted to jump up. SeoJoon's mind was filled with only happiness. If I agree to enter the rare Draugr dungeon that costs money to enter, I will receive 30 billion won. He was excited. He couldn't help but laugh but had to control it. He almost couldn't help but burst out laughing. He's talking seriously. Don't laugh. You think so, but in your head you can't help but laugh. Looking at you thoughtfully, covering your mouth. The chairman is a bit worried. As expected, that's too little. Perhaps. Why does that Draugr dungeon have to appear right after we've invested all our money in the professional hunter competition? But now we can't contact the Sacred Heart, other than Hunter Kim SeoJoon. There is no one to respond to us, he thought anxiously. Draugr are some kind of invisible ghost, he thought. If the dungeon burst and the Draugr poured out, the consequences would be terrible, he feared. We have to deal with it before that happens. Thinking about this, he hurriedly said, not only that, if you successfully raid this Draugr dungeon, you will receive an S-Class Hunter certificate. Hearing this, SeoJoon couldn't bear it anymore. Then the Dream Team will become a guild that owns S-rank hunters. Then the guild will satisfy the promotion requirements according to the terms and conditions he set forth. He continued to say beautiful words. Later, many taxes and fees would be exempted from the profits earned by the Dream Team. At this point, Kim SeoJoon couldn't help but say, in his head, I'm bursting with happiness. Actually I will beg them to leave that dungeon to me, even though they intend to pay me 30 billion, and consider promoting me to S rank, my guild will accept it. There are some benefits. You think about the benefits of taking this bet and conclude in your mind, I will do it, leave it to me. He covered his mouth, regaining composure, making the chairman sitting across from him worried. So can you help us? Don't you often ask Sacred Heart to handle things like this? He looked puzzled while trying not to laugh. It's hard to say, Mr. Chairman, actually. Lately, we haven't been able to contact Tam Tan, he said. He strained his ears to listen and realized something important. The opportunity would be lost if they could contact Tam Tan. Then I'll try it. SeoJoon tried to pretend to forcefully accept the request. The chairman heard him agree and stood up happily. Are you serious? So when can you conduct the raid? He asked. Tomorrow. SeoJoon was quick. but the next second he quickly corrected it. It's impossible. Ahem, I'm not sure, I also need to prepare. But well, because the situation is so urgent, tomorrow at the latest, I will try to handle it as soon as possible, he corrected. The chairman heard him say that and was extremely touched. Thank you very much Hunter Kim SeoJoon. We, the Hunter Association, will never forget your dedication, for the safety of the people and the country, he bowed in gratitude. No need to thank me, ahem. Kim SeoJoon is still not happy. The chairman noticed that he was unusual. No matter how talented he is, this is still a matter of life and death, he thought. He was truly a young talent that was at least S rank, could surpass even a hero, willing to sacrifice himself and rush into danger. SeoJoon was extremely great in the eyes of the association president. Kim SeoJoon, this person is truly a true hunter, not really a hero, isn't that right, Mr. Sword Saint, with tears in his eyes, while SeoJoon on the other side kept trying not to laugh. Ha 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 ha. So I will raid the dungeon alone, he proudly decided. Besides me, no one can resist the spiritual attack. Most importantly, for the sake of progress, it would be better to go alone, he thought. After everyone heard him, they fell silent. They thought, raid, he's alone, SeoJoon won't be here. We will rest, they will be happy. Captain, remember to take care, I won't send Oppa off, go safely, I'll handle things here so don't worry, just take your time, they said one after another. After hearing this, Kim SeoJoon was a bit disappointed. Aren't you all worried about me, he asked. SeoJoon replied, worried, about the Draugr. Is there anything that could make you worried from the beginning, Captain? If there was, it would definitely be the end of the world, Minhyul and Suyeon said while celebrating. No, yes, it's money, Haeun corrected. Yes, Minhyul agreed, and Suyeon felt nauseous, only hearing about money, yup. These damn people, SeoJoon thought with a smile, exasperated. I'll help you prepare, SeoJoon offered but you refused. It's okay, I'll go now so there's no need. It's a Draugr dungeon, you'll have to prepare very carefully, there's still time, SeoJoon wondered. If you waste any more time then the association will be able to contact the Sacred Heart. I have to go now, you replied. SeoJoon was confused. Anyway, I'll go home, he pushed the door open to say goodbye. SeoJoon looked at him with puzzled eyes. Big sister SeoJoon won't have a chance like this again. Rest while you can, Suyeon advised. Order some chicken, Minhyul suggested. Fried chicken, Haeun craved. Speak. Meanwhile, rumors about the Draugr dungeon appearing in Korea are being widely spread. At the same time the news that SeoJoon, not Sacred Heart, will raid the Draugr dungeon alone this time is also spreading. I heard from an acquaintance in the association. Actually Kim SeoJoon will handle the Draugr dungeon. Compared to him, the Black Dragon is really boring. Ryu Jinkyul has never been able to do that, as expected from Super SeoJoon. Hunter Kim SeoJoon like the disaster hero I have always idolized. Hunter Kim SeoJoon, handle it for us, the people said. Hunter Kim SeoJoon will do well, the association president believes. We need to consider adding extra benefits to him, he thought. Someone suddenly opened the door. Sir. So, the president of the association asked. And you have a holy heart, the reporter said tiredly. We just received a call from Mr. Sacred Heart, the reporter said. What? Lee Taebum suddenly shouted. To Tam Tan, when? He asked urgently. Just now, I came here as soon as I received the call, the other person replied. Whatever she said, never mind, we have to call her right away, the president decided. The reporter remembered. I don't think you need it, the president was surprised after hearing it. She said she was nearby, and she would go deal with the Draugr dungeon immediately, he said. Meanwhile, when SeoJoon reached the Draugr dungeon, he was extremely surprised to see someone was there first. Sacred Heart, he asked. The woman turned back. SeoJoon arrived and spoke up. Is this the Draugr dungeon? It's a monster grave, a pile of ruins. Death energy is everywhere but perhaps not enough to speed up his progress, he said. Suddenly he realized something. Is there someone, he wondered. In front of him was a woman exuding a green aura. This strange feeling of mystery, the surrounding was filled with death but there was nothing around her. He looked at the mysterious woman and speculated. Perhaps, he gradually realized. Are you the Sacred Heart? He asked. The woman turned to look at him, equally surprised. Hero of the Great Flood, one of the 5 great heroes, your thoughts appeared. This boy, I don't know why you came to this place but you should go home, Saint Tam advised. He determined that this was the Sacred Heart. This was not a place to risk his life, she reminded him. It's really Sacred Heart, he didn't expect to see him here. SeoJoon was excited. Wait, Sacred Heart is here, he quickly realized. Wait, "You're not planning on destroying the Draugr dungeon, are you?" he shouted in fear. "Why not?" she replied. "Oh God, no, you can't do that." He tried his best to stop it. Sacred Heart asked, "What are you saying?" "I told you you can't destroy this dungeon," he seemed to shout loudly. Saint Tam sighed in confusion and looked at him, then turned around and left. "Sacred Heart, please listen to me." SeoJoon quickly stopped her in front of her with a proposal that startled her. "I can't even feel his presence, let alone move." "How?" Saint Tam thought in surprise. "I have to deal with the Draggers while they are still in the dungeon. That terrible undead creature cannot. I can release it back to the lower world," she requested. SeoJoon held the spear in his hand and kept saying, "No, you can't kill it. If you want to kill it, I have to kill it." "You don't intend to get away, do you?" she said angrily. "Kid, quickly hide behind me." However, realizing there was danger, she stood up to protect SeoJoon. Gurg, a death aura gathered in front of the two of them. "It's Draugr," SeoJoon thought. "Leave this place to me and get out of here quickly. Sacred Heart ordered you, but you didn't seem to listen and continued to stand there. See you." The Sacred Heart is confused as you move forward. Your enlightenment progress increases by 0.1%. His enlightenment progress continued to increase by 0.2%. He opened his mouth. That was it. The enlightenment progress continued to increase. "Give me more evil intentions." He spread his arms and shouted loudly in front of Draugr. Hearing that, he smiled sinisterly, his face lit up. The process of enlightenment continued, this time higher than the last time. He comfortably enjoyed this moment. It was great. The process of enlightenment continued to increase rapidly. "That's right, again," he said, continuing to walk, startling the Draugr. He was surprised. Gurg. Then he suddenly disappeared. And walking in front of SeoJoon. SeoJoon was surprised. Then he entered SeoJoon's body. His heart was shocked when he saw that scene. Damn it, it took over his mind. This child's mental shield seemed strong enough to not be swallowed by evil intentions. She looked at him and speculated. But unlike evil intentions, possession invades the target's mind and is directly attacked mentally. She is afraid. If this continues, this brat's mind will immediately collapse. She worriedly immediately launched a move, "Waiting for me. I'll drag Draugr out right away," she reassured, but SeoJoon remained silent. A completely different level from that bastard born from magic. He was so happy that his limbs were weak. The process of enlightenment was gradually increasing. The Holy Heart couldn't hide his confusion behind him. "Whoa," he continued to enjoy. She looked at him in confusion. The top of the top. Amazing, aching armpits. The process was so smooth. He was so happy that he couldn't control it. "So sweet," he shouted. In SeoJoon's mental world, the name Draugr became small. Gurg. Before his eyes was SeoJoon in the form of a giant Buddha, and he was tiny in the Buddha's hands. "Poor creature," Buddha said. He realized something. He tilted his head, patted his ear. Draugr was knocked out from his other ear. His death aura has disappeared," he sighed, while Draugr became ragged. "I have lived a shameful life," he realized. "Are you dead or something?" SeoJoon approached and asked coldly, poking Draugr. "Yes, I'm reaching nirvana," he answered leisurely. "I've exhausted its vitality." He raised his hand to stroke his forehead, slowly to see. Before entering the dungeon the progress was at 33.8%. He quickly checked, but now, it skyrocketed to 38.1%, a total increase of 4.3%, he shouted happily. Assuming there were at least 10 more draggers in the dungeon, the progress would increase by 43%. He quickly did the multiplication. So the enlightenment process had reached at least 80%, he speculated. Thinking about this, he was so happy that he trembled. Sacred Heart looked at him with pitying eyes. SeoJoon recognized her and immediately turned to look. "Ahem, you're still here." He immediately regained his composure, pretending to be cool and asked, "Pretending to be okay now won't work," she said. You saw that thing right, this is my business, you go home Sacred Heart," he suggested with a bright smile. Sacred Heart looked at him seriously, thinking, there must be spiritual energy to be able to consume it. Completely destroy Draugr, and even in large numbers. Yet he still let the monster enter nirvana. Thinking of this, she glared and concentrated her energy. During the Great Flood, I have never encountered this situation. She looked at SeoJoon. His body was surrounded by an extremely large amount of spiritual energy. "This is my dungeon, even if you are Tam. Even saints have to line up." "It was the association president who told me to handle this case," SeoJoon shouted loudly. Even though she was trying to see into his mind, she didn't get any results. She couldn't see him. She closed her eyes helplessly. So there is only one possibility, that this child's soul realm is at least equal to mine or better. she concluded. I will not touch the Draugr, she told SeoJoon. Can he do it? The other heroes don't say anything. His spiritual power is equal to the Sacred Heart, she wondered. But I have something to check, so I can't leave here, she added. SeoJoon heard that and asked curiously, what was that thing? I don't know the details either. Black Saint speaks in general terms, so I only have vague information, Tam Saint replied. Black Saint, SeoJoon wondered. Is what the Black Saint said related to the Order of Truth, or the Crazy Soldiers? The question surprised Saint Tam. Why are you? She asked. We also consider it a business relationship, sir, SeoJoon explained. The Black Saint doubted that the Order of Truth could have created the Draugr dungeon. The Sacred Heart said, could he create the dungeon himself? SeoJoon asked. Of course it's impossible, she shook her head and said, even if it was possible, there's no way to confirm. But whether it's possible or not, I think it still needs to be verified, she said. SeoJoon let out a breath, scratched his head and thought, yes, the only person who can enter the Draugr dungeon is Saint Tam, even the Black Saint. There was no way, I really didn't know where he went after getting the money. Oh, he suddenly realized. Isn't this an opportunity to collect debt from the Black Saint, he thought with a sinister smile. Why are you suddenly like this? Saint Tam asked. I think I can help you, you suggested. Sacred Heart was surprised. In a peaceful, barbaric dungeon, there is a group of wild Draugr. Draugr are extremely dangerous 10-star mental monsters. If they touch them, they can cause mental collapse. However, they are the source of promoting his enlightenment, SeoJoon thought, and went straight to destroy Draugr. The Draugr were sucked into death one by one until they withered. Sacred Heart's thoughts are the same. If it goes well, you just need to tell Hawk Fang that I have dedicated myself to helping you. You happily suggested that we should not allow him. Sacred Heart looked at his appearance. He thought dejectedly, but the Draugr was terrified. At the Black Saint's shelter, there is a mountain surrounded by green trees. A battle is raging. Someone had to vomit blood. Long time no see, Black Saint, the mysterious man in black said. The Apostle of Duk moderated. The injured young man called his name. Unexpectedly, one of the 7 apostles would come to this shabby place just to capture an old man, the Black Saint said, but fear flashed in his head. I can't defeat him alone now, because you have causing a lot of trouble, the guy in black replied. Looking for Sacred Heart was your mistake. When Black Saint heard those words, he immediately looked frightened. What are you talking about? The Black Saint asked again. A Draugr dungeon suddenly appeared in Korea. You have decided that you need to investigate without knowing whether the news is true or not, the black-shirted man said. Isn't it obvious who you're looking for? He explained. Seeing that the Black Saint couldn't pretend anymore, he could only frown and exclaim, damn it. So from the beginning, their goal was only one, that is, he thought. At that moment, the man in black rushed almost in front of him. He said, you are too careless. He grabbed the Black Saint's neck and pressed down forcefully. He fell into a passive position and cried out, Cuck. Why did you spend so much effort to eliminate the heroes from the Great Flood? The Black Saint asked with difficulty while being pinned to the ground. Specifically, there is no special reason, we are just following God's words, the black-shirted man with a sharp face replied. Really, your God is really a crazy person. If not for you, those words would have sounded like a heavenly book, the Black Saint sarcastically. The next second the man in black strangled his neck. Kuiik, Mister, I spit out blood, do you like this life? It's just a fleeting moment, the man in black asked. Even though you tried so hard to delay the obvious, you will not survive this endless war. The man in black continued to torment the Black Saint. Kuiak, he could only cry out trembling. No matter how hard you try, you can't stop us, Black Saint suddenly smiled challengingly. Kukaku, he still kept moaning. The guy in black was quite confused with his words and actions. As expected, that kid is truly invisible in everyone's eyes, Hawk Thatch smiled complacently. What did you say? The other guy asked again. Seizing that moment, the Black Saint pulled out a sharp knife. He slashed past the black-shirted man, but he dodged. The Black Saint gradually regained the initiative. The two stood facing each other. Do you still use these tricks? The man in black asked, gathering his strength in his hands. Then he lowered his move. An extremely powerful stream of dark power aimed straight at the Black Saint. Waiting for the dust to disperse, the black-shirted man was surprised. Did he run away? He turned to ask his junior when he couldn't see the Black Saint's figure. No wonder it's difficult for us to determine his location. His invisibility technique has already reached the level of selflessness, the black-shirted man admitted. Should we continue to chase him? The junior asked. Just leave him alone, the man in black replied calmly. Meanwhile, the Black Saint was hastily running away. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't change her fate. The man in black said, the scene changed to where SeoJoon and Tam Saint were. SeoJoon said. You draggers, where are you going? Come out here, I'll be gentle. Tam Saint and Black Saint were worried and quickly ran away. If you come out here now, I will send you on your way in the least painful way possible. SeoJoon was still blabbering, leaving Sacred Heart speechless. Go to Draugr Dungeon. A monster bared its sharp teeth. Today is the day Sacred Heart will die, the man in black said. A Draugr being purified. Then SeoJoon's wound slashed him down. In an instant it disappeared. He received a phone notification. He suddenly asked when he saw that his enlightenment progress was only stopping at 49.9%. Oh, why didn't his devotion progress increase anymore? You continue to kill the bastards, you wonder when the progress of enlightenment is still at the same rate. He continued to kill them, but the number didn't increase. He got angry. What the hell? The process of enlightenment was no longer increasing. Could it be that it had already reached its maximum level? He scratched his head. Now that I think about it, every time my devotion increases by 10%, I can feel a huge change, but being steadfast and idealistic is not like that, he thought, then frowned, gritted his teeth, and wondered, so do I need something specific to increase it to 50%? What a waste, he regretted it. At that moment, Tam Ton came. Hey kid, you're done being mad. No, have you finished your work yet? She asked. Tam Ton, I haven't found anything yet. Have you discovered anything? He asked her again frantically. Not really, she replied. Ghosts like this are so strange. Even though we're just joking around now, we haven't gotten into any big trouble yet. SeoJoon feels strange. Could it be because this dungeon doesn't have any problems? He wondered. Tam suddenly asked, what do you mean? Because neither I nor Sacred Heart feel that there is anything unusual about this dungeon. I wonder if we should think outside the box a bit, such as the deformation, he explained. Sacred Heart. Hearing that, he replied, I had thought about that too, but there was no trace of deformation at all. Have you tried looking for other types of deformation? SeoJoon asked. Actually, I was once trapped inside a dungeon related to the Justice Church, just like the Holy Man Dharma, but at that time there was another kind of deformation. One could say a kind of mutation, SeoJoon explained. I like it. Tam Ton feels it's reasonable. What you said makes sense. I'll have to go check it out myself, so please wait a moment. Tam Ton turned around and was about to leave. She concentrated her energy in her hands. I can feel an energy that is completely opposite from the Black Saint and the Sword Saint that I felt before, SeoJoon felt. As if it was embracing everything it touched, he expressed admiration for the power of Sacred Heart, while Sacred Heart was surrounded by a stream of pure blue power. Suddenly, something appeared. SeoJoon was surprised. Oh. It was the noblest and most divine spirit, the Holy Spirit, the spirit in the form of a deer with long horns that appeared. It moved closer to SeoJoon. Rubbing her face against his, SeoJoon was surprised. Why did it do this? He asked with a ticklish smile. I don't know anymore. Tam is helpless. Among all the spirits, the Holy Spirit is the most noble and divine, so if a person's character is not upright, the Holy Spirit will never pay attention to that person. Moreover, when seeing the brothers since the Great Flood, it hasn't reacted much, she thought in surprise. How could he be so friendly with this crazy bastard? She wondered as she remembered SeoJoon's despicable image. Holy Spirit, you can lick anywhere, but please don't lick my lips, he's talking to the Holy Spirit. Suddenly, a vicious power came, and both SeoJoon and Sacred Heart recognized it. What evil intentions, the two thought. The two of them immediately went into a state of alert. What kind of energy is this? It's on a completely different level than the Draugr, SeoJoon wondered. Just recently, I still couldn't feel anything, so why suddenly? Is it aiming for the Holy Spirit? SeoJoon wondered. It is very huge, enough to make people feel scared. Even in the midst of the Great Flood, I have never encountered malice at this level. Maybe I have met it once, from a giant monster. Beast per sec, Sacred Heart speculated. Hey kid, it's dangerous, get out of the way, she quickly told SeoJoon to get away. I don't know what it is, but it's definitely stronger than the Draugr, SeoJoon said. If it's strong then that means I can earn a lot of experience points, he thought. Lady Tam Saint, I will handle it, so stay as close to the Holy Spirit as possible. SeoJoon boldly stood in front of Sacred Heart and said to protect you,